Perfect. Awesome. Then share screen. Great. And then Sarah, if you could just give me a thumbs up when you can hear the audio.
Thank you for attending this Connect Together event. During this event, we have automatic closed captioning available. Please go to the bottom of the Zoom meeting, click Live Transcript, and then Show Subtitles to turn them on. Before we begin, we'd like to take a quick moment to let you know how you can join an opinion research panel made specifically for British Columbians living with disabilities.
For 25 years, the Disability Foundation has been fostering meaningful experiences for Canadians with disabilities through outdoor recreation, social connectedness, innovative adaptive devices, and more. Today we are asking, how has the pandemic affected you? Help strengthen decision makers' understanding of your needs and experiences by joining an online opinion research panel consisting solely of people with disabilities and their caregivers. Make a difference in your community today. The Disability Foundation. Reimagine what is possible.
Did you know? Young adults with disabilities have a harder time getting hired. Break down barriers by sharing your story. Take our survey.
Wonderful. Thank you everyone for watching that little video, and I'll pass it off to Sarah.
Perfect. Thank you, Angela. And hello, everyone. And so I'm filling in for Megan today. If you didn't already know, Megan's off on holidays right now, so she asked me to pop in. So I'm joining you here today from Victoria, and we are going to hop into some breathwork, core, and cardio today. So I'm super excited about that. I'm actually kind of chilly, so I'm really excited to get into some cardio. Equipment you're going to need is just a dowel of some sort, hockey stick, broomstick, mop stick like I'm using, whatever you have that's sort of simulates a dowel. And then I have a little bit of light weights that I'll be using, not necessary, but if you want a little extra within the cardio and within some of the core workout that we're going to do, that will be helpful. So things like a soup can, or these are just like ankle weights, so that works for me. But keep it light today. We'll be doing lots of rounds of everything, so don't go too heavy and overdo it. But other than that, I think we should be good. If you have any questions throughout the workout, feel free to throw them in the chat and let me know, and I'll get to them as soon as we can. But I'd like to get through this because we have quite a bit to go through in terms of cardio, so we should get started. To start, I'd like to invite you all to sit comfortably, close your eyes if you can, and we're going to do a little bit of breath work. So I just want you to think about inhaling for 4, and then we're going to exhale for 4, and we're going to do that for just about a minute here. So we're going to inhale and exhale, thinking about filling that belly. Inhale and exhale. Good. Relaxing those shoulders. Inhale and exhale, thinking about expanding that belly like a balloon, and exhale, releasing that balloon. Now we're going to go on your own time here. Staying nice and controlled with those breaths. Thinking about grounding those feet wherever you are, sitting tall. And then from here, I want you to do 2 more big inhales. And on that exhale, we're going to start getting into some neck movement. So tilting our right ear to our right shoulder, relaxing that left side. And then coming back up and switching sides. And then coming to neutral, looking up. And Tucking that chin in and looking down. Then we're going to look left and coming to the right. And from here, we're going to tilt to the left again, tilting to the right. Good, looking left and right, up and down. Then when we come back to neutral, I want you to think about drawing a huge circle with your nose. Getting as big of a circle as you can. Remembering our breath here as we switch directions. Good. And then from here, we're going to come to neutral. Then we're going to take our shoulders and we're going to imagine drawing squares. So coming up, going backwards, down, and forwards. Making big squares with those shoulders. Good. And then we're going to go opposite direction. So back, up, forwards, and down. Back, up, forwards, and down. Good. Getting all those kinks out, all the crunchiness that mine are hearing. Good. And we're going to just reach up and then come down. And then we're going to go one arm, so the right arm up, and then down, left arm up, and down. A couple more like this. Getting that hand overhead as far as we can. If going overhead isn't an option for you today, I want you to always think about just staying out in front. So just staying here, getting in that movement. Otherwise, we're going up and overhead. Good. Then from here, we're going to reach to the right or to the left with our right arm. Then we're going to bring the forearm out in front and sweep across as far as we can, looking over that shoulder before we switch sides. Reaching up and over, coming forwards with the forearm and sweeping across, looking over that shoulder. Couple more here at your own pace. Once you get that movement in, going a little smoother and faster work. We want to start getting that heart rate up. So our movements are going to get a little faster. Good. Last time here. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do is you're just going to have both arms out in front and then left arm's going to come and tap the shoulder and then right's going to tap the shoulder. Good. And then once you get good at that, we'll start going a little faster. Good, relaxing those arms. Okay, next one we're gonna do, we're gonna tuck that chin in and we're gonna roll down through the spine. Hands can stay on the lap, going as far down as we can. And then slowly coming up, looking up to the sky, lifting that chest. Shoulders drop down, and then tucking that chin in and going down. Good. Slowly coming back up, lifting that chest and looking up. Good. Then from there, we're going to do a little bit of hinges. So I'm going to have everyone have hands on the hips or hands on the lap, and we're just going to hinge as far forward as we can. So keeping that back nice and straight, chest is up, looking up at me. Good. Just small hinges here. Just getting a little warmed up before we do a bunch of these. Good. And then coming back to center. Now we're just going to reach up and reach down towards our knees. Good. And then we're going to reach forwards and then reach right, reach left, forward, right, and left. Good, hopefully we're getting a little warmer now. We're gonna transition right into our cardio in just a moment here. Reaching up and down now. Remember, if we can't go up, we're going straight in front of us. Good. All right, rest, grab some water. For these, we're gonna go right into cardio. So if you are using those light weights, grab those now. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna run through a bunch of different exercises. I'll direct you through each of them. And as we go, we're gonna be doing them for 30 seconds each before we switch into the next exercise. And once we get through the sequence of, I believe, 4 exercises, we'll rest for 30 and then do it all again. And we have 3 different sequences of exercises. So hopefully no one gets bored when we're doing this. Keep things light and fun. Okay, so first exercise we're doing is we're just doing overhead jumping jacks. So just coming here. If you have those weights, have them in your hands. Again, if overhead's not an option, you can do arm circles here. We're just getting overhead to get that heart rate going, remembering our breathing here. As we have about 5 seconds, and we're going to switch into the next one. Good, and then we're going to go punching out in front, so nice and controlled jabs here. If you do have a little bit of weight, making sure we're nice and easy, not throwing out those shoulders. Good. Sitting up nice and tall here. I want us to also think about breathing, so exhaling on those punches. Good. And then we're going up overhead, so first one, and then the other arm. So one arm at a time, overhead presses. And then once you start figuring out that movement, you can go a little faster. Good. And then we are moving into some seated runs. So imagining we're running, we're getting in a little bit of twisting. You don't have brakes on if you're sitting in a wheelchair, or maybe putting those brakes on so you can run a little faster. Good. Just moving as best as we can here. And rest. Good. Okay, that's our first round. So grabbing some water, stretching out a little bit. Oxygen and H2O, as I like to say, before we go into our next one. We got about 10 seconds here. Hopefully noticing the heart rate coming down as we go into next round. So jumping jacks overhead or arm circles. Good. Thinking about getting as much movement as high as you can. And breathing here. Noticing my shoulders are nice and low away from the ears. We're not getting up here. We're staying down here. Here we go. Okay, jabs out in front. Nice. Nice and controlled. Pacing ourselves. Good. Focusing on feet planted, sitting tall. And overhead press. One arm at a time. Or forward press, whatever works for you. Speeding up now, if we got that movement. We have our balance. And into our jogging. Good. Now, for some people, this can look really fast if you want to get in that movement. If you are able and want to stand, you can also be doing high knees here. For those of you that want to do that. Good. We got 5 seconds, and then we're going into a rest. Nice, and rest. Good. Grabbing water, stretching, whatever you need to bring that heart rate down. Maybe focusing on getting those shoulders back down, away from those ears. Sitting up tall, allowing that breath to get opened up. We have 10 seconds, and then we're going to go into our last round of this one. All right, and we are going into jumping jacks. Nice and controlled. Thinking about getting as much shape into those jumping jacks. Breathing here. Good, and switching into jabs. Now, if you really want to get technical, you want to come back to the chin here. Every time we punch, there we go. Nicely done. Speeding up if we have the energy. Good, and overhead press. One arm at a time. Beating up. This is our third round now. Hopefully we got the balance here. Good. 15 seconds of this. Breathing, where's our breathing? Making sure we're not holding that breath, and running. Get into that jogging. Getting as dramatic as we can, whether you're seated or standing. Good. Speeding up here. We got 10 more seconds. Nicely done. And rest. Good. All right, grab some water. And I also want you to grab your dowels. You can set your weights down, and we're going to use that one for our next set of cardio intervals. We have about 15 seconds before we go into our new set. Okay. So next one we're doing for the first one is we're starting on pushing out. We're going to start on the left hip, coming up over to the right. Okay. So we're essentially drawing a rainbow over you. So left, up and over to the right. We're going to jump right into it. Good. And then once you find that, start speeding up. If we're standing, we're slight bend in the knees as we do this. Otherwise, feet planted, engaging that core as best as you can. And then we're going to switch into kayak. Kayaks is nice and easy. I always tell people to imagine the water. So when we do get into the water, there's a little bit of resistance, so you want to pull back. And then once we get that, we can go a little faster. Really focusing on the pull here. Pulling back as we go into that water. Good. Okay, now we're gonna rotate. So starting from neutral, rotate to the right. Outwards hand is pressing forward, coming back to neutral, rotating, pressing forward. Now notice me, I don't got a lot of rotation, but it's a little bit, so it's away from center, and then we're pressing forward. Once you get that, you can start speeding up. There we go. Keeping the shoulders down, staying nice in control. Good. Breathing here. Next one we're going to be doing is an overhead press. So catching our breath here before we go up and over. Okay, overhead press. Nicely done. Overhead press is too much, just press forward. Good. Awesome job, everyone. We got 5 seconds. And rest. Good. Okay, so those are the 4 exercises we're doing with our dowel. So catching our breath, and we're going to go into the next one. Okay. And you're going up and over. So starting on the left hip, going up, creating that rainbow shape, going to the right. And then once we get that, you can go a little faster. Finding a good pace here. We got about 15 more seconds. Great job. And kayaks. Focusing on our pole. Down and into the water. Following the dowel now. Really getting in that rotation. Breathing. We got 10 seconds. Maybe speeding it up if you want a little extra challenge here. Nice. And we are rotation to press. Rotating and pressing. Good. Speeding up is actually a little easier, I find, with this movement, especially if rotation is not an easy thing for you. Staying nice and controlled here. Making sure we get at least a little bit of movement. Getting that belly button rotated to the side. Good. And overhead press. There we go. You got about 15 seconds and then you get a water break. Good. Finishing nice and strong. Sitting up tall and rest. Good. Okay, take that out. We got 30 seconds. And we got one more set of those. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone's keeping up. Making sure we get some water if we need. Good. My neck always gets tight, so some neck stretching. Okay, last round of these ones. We are coming to the left, going up overhead, switching to the right. Good. Breathing here. We got 10 seconds. And switching to kayaks. Straight into the water and pull. Breathing, exhaling every time we hit that water. Good. Sitting up tall and following that dowel. We got 10 seconds here. Nice. And then we are rotating to press. Good. Finding some rhythm here. Now that we've got this movement, sitting up tall, watching our outside hand as we press out. Good. And we got 10 seconds. And we go into our last one of these. Good, and overhead. Squeezing those shoulder blades down. We come down, keeping those elbows nice and tight. Pushing forwards if overhead's too much. 10 seconds. Nice and steady. And rest. Good. Okay, I'm going to give everyone a minute before we go into some core. Grabbing some water. Making sure we're bringing that heart rate down. And we're going to move right into some core. So for this core, I'm going to grab just one of my ankle weights. We don't totally need anything. If you have like an object for some of these, that'll work, like a pillow or something like that, that'll also work. But no, you don't need equipment if you don't have any. Some people I know like to use their dowel for hinges. So if you're using a dowel to do some hinges, that works too. I'll show it a couple different ways. Yeah, I'll give you guys 10 more seconds. Give everyone a minute, and then first one we're going to do is hinges. So I'm going to start talking through that one. What we're going to do is you can either do this one of like 3 different ways. So you can start with hands either on that lap or on your hips, and we're going to be leaning forward as far as we can, making sure that spine stays straight. You can come with the dowel in front, holding this right up to the chest and then coming forward. So notice my hinge significantly decreases, but it's a little extra of a challenge. If hinging is quite easy for you, you can also come behind the head and go forwards. Notice again, mine significantly decreases with the limited core function I have, but becomes even more of a challenge. Always making sure our back is straight, depending on what we're using. So I encourage you to challenge yourself here, but make sure we keep that back straight and stay nice and safe. I'll show the first one for the first round, and then I'll show some of the other ones on the next 2 rounds. But we're going to start, we're going to do 10 reps. So chest is up, looking forward. 2, sitting up nice and tall, keeping that spine as straight as we can. Don't go too far into it and then lose that posture. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Good. Okay. So if you do have some of that weight or a pillow or something near you, you can grab it. If not, you don't really need anything. Even like your cell phone will work for this. What you're going to do is you're going to have one arm out in front, one arm in front, and one to the side, sorry. And what we're going to do is bringing that arm from the side, you're going to grab that weight and always keep the weight out in front and then coming over. So arms are going to the side, weights always staying out in front. We're trying to keep that arm as straight as we can, and the arm that goes out as straight as we can. Okay. We don't have an object, we're pretending we have an object there, holding it. If something is too heavy, whatever you're holding, drop the weight. Drop whatever you're using and just do the motion. Sitting up tall, we're trying to stay as straight as we can with our torso. I don't have a lot of core function, so I'm already swaying a bit. Good. We'll do one more here. And rest. Good. Nice. Okay. Wood chops. So if you have a weight, this one works great with weight. If not, your hands work too. So we're going to start out from the right and come down to the left hip. So right on the right side of your head to the left hip. And we're going to think about staying as straight as possible with our arms and coming down. 6, 7, 8. Sometimes you can turn this into two things. It's more of a rotation or an anti-rotation. And today we're doing a little more of an anti-rotation. So coming and staying as stable as we can as we go to the hips. Then we're going to come to the right or the left side of the head and drop down to the right hip. Good. Keeping that arm, right arm nice and straight. Staying nice and aligned here with the torso. 8, 9, and last one. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do, you can add some weight here again if you want. And we're just going into Russian twist over to each hip. Good. And rest. Good. Okay, last one we're going to do is we're going to press out in front of us, keeping our arms nice and straight, shoulders down, and then coming back to our chest. Pressing out, holding, and coming back. Good. Holding for 3 seconds, and then coming back. Good. Engaging that belly button, pulling that belly button in towards the spine, shoulders away from the ears. Obviously, this will be harder the heavier your weight is. And rest. Good. Okay, we're going to run through those again. So if you're using a dowel for the hinge, you can grab your dowel. If you're doing it with your hands on your hips or your lap, that works too. And we're going into our hinge. Noticing we're just going as far as we can to keep the form. 2, 3, staying nice and controlled. If hinges are super easy for you, I'd encourage you to hinge, hold for 3 seconds, and then come back in. For those of us that hinge is hard, just focusing on staying nice and aligned here will be plenty. 8, and 9. This one. And 10. Good. Resting there. Grabbing the weight if you're using a weight. Okay, so this time we're going to always keep the arm that's out front empty and the weight on the side here. So we're going to come here, keeping that arm out in front. So weight's following now to the side. 2. Good. Engaging that core. 3, 4. Watching. We want a little more difficulty watching that weight as we rotate. Breathing here. 8, 9. Last one. And 10. Good. And resting. Okay, wood chops. Starting left side, going to right hip. 2, keeping that torso nice and straight. We're doing anti-rotation. You want no rotation here. 4, Breathing, exhaling on that down. And good. Switching sides. Staying as straight as we can here. Getting that weight or hands or object, whatever you're using, down to that hip. Good. Okay, last one, going out in front. Holding for 3 seconds and coming in. And breathing. There we go. Last one. And 10. Nice. Okay, grabbing water. We're going to do this one more time before we go into a cool down. If we're using the towel, we'll grab that towel from the hinges. Getting set up for hinges. Dowel to the chest if you're using that. And let's go. So 1. Chest nice and open. Scooting those elbows back. Scooting those shoulder blades down. 6. Good. Last one. Focusing on that position. Good. Okay, grabbing the weight if we're using weight. This time we're going to have weight out in front again. Arms out to the side. Keeping that weight out in front. If you want a little bit of challenge, we're following the hand that's going to the side. Keeping nice and steady. Shoulders down. Tuck that chin in a bit. Arms nice and straight. Last one. And rest. Good. Okay. Wood chops. Coming to the right, going down to the left. Then make sure we're not rotating, nice and steady. Last one, good. And then switching sides. And last one, 10, good. Okay, going into our twists. Following the weight, or objects, or hands, whatever you're using. Twisting, bringing that belly button to the side. Good. And coming to center and pressing out in front, holding for 3 seconds and coming in. Shoulders down. Staying nice and upright. Planting those feet. Squeezing those shoulder blades back as we come back to center. Two more. And 10. Good. Nicely done. Okay. I hope everyone is feeling good. We're gonna go into a cool down and get some stretches in. By now, hopefully that heart rate's coming down from the core work. So first one we're gonna do, you have two different options here. You can either, if you have like a table out in front of you, you can use that, or if you can get up against a wall, that works too. If you don't have any of those, you can totally just lean to the side and stretch out. But if you do have a table in front, you're gonna put both your hands on the table and you're gonna lean backwards, shooting that butt backwards, and then we're gonna put our head between our arms. If that isn't available to you, you can come up against a wall, take your hand up over your head and press into that wall, really stretching, making sure we have enough space in the wall that we can get all the way over, pressing into that wall. And again, if you don't have any of those, you can just reach over and get a nice stretch here. I'm gonna do the stretching on the front, putting my head between my arms and pressing my hands into the table. If you've already started that stretch, we got about 30 more seconds. If you're leaning, I would switch to the other side now. Breathing here, feeling that breath up through the spine. As we exhale, slowly coming back to center. Good. Okay, from here, we're gonna tuck that chin in. We're gonna look down towards our toes, relaxing those shoulders down. Maybe going a little further here. If you need a hand to help you get even more of a stretch, you can help pull your head down towards your toes. Breathing here. As we rotate to the right, looking and getting our nose down to our armpit. Relaxing that left shoulder. I like to dangle my hand to the side here. Trying to get that nose as far as we can down. Maybe using a hand to help you get there. Go in until you feel a little bit of a stretch. One big inhale here. As we exhale, coming to center, making sure that chin is tucked and going to the left side. Holding here. Maybe going a little further now. And exhaling, coming back to center. Good. We're going to take our right arm and go across the body using our left hand at the elbow to pull that arm across our body. Getting a little bit of a deltoid stretch here. Good. Relaxing those shoulders. And exhale, switching arms. So left arm going across, right hand coming at the elbow to help assist getting that arm across. Notice too, my shoulders a little hunched here. You can pull that down and then come across. Really trying to drive those shoulders down. Good. Couple more breaths here. Feeling the breath through the spine. And exhaling, coming back to center. Good. Okay, we're gonna bring our hands to the side, lifting that chest, looking up to the sky. It's gonna open up that chest. If you are able and want to, you can have your hands clasped behind, pulling down towards the ground. Otherwise, hands are to our sides, lifting that chest. especially for those of us using any type of mobility aid, we're always hunched forward. I want to get the reverse of that. And exhale, coming back to center. We're going to look over our right shoulder. Making sure we're breathing here, lifting that chest up. Breathing up through the spine here. Exhaling, coming back to center, and then going to the left. Lifting that chest. Looking over that left shoulder. Exhaling, coming back to center. Good. Then from here, we're going to tuck that chin in, go down, either stopping here with our hands on our lap or going all the way down to our toes. We're just going to stay here for a minute. Breathing up through the spine. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Taking a moment here to appreciate our bodies and being able to move today. Feeling grateful for that and being super generous to ourselves and being able to take this time, appreciating the time we took for ourselves today. Reminding ourselves why it's so important to be moving for all of us. And thanking ourselves for doing this work that we did today. Definitely hard work, so great job to everyone. And I want you to take 2 more big breaths here. Really noticing where that breath is going up through the spine. And exhaling. Laying back up to center. Awesome. Well, that is all I have for everyone today. Great job today on the cardio. It's definitely a lot of movement, so take her easy. Otherwise, it's so great to join everyone today, and I'm sure I'll be back around soon. But thanks everyone, and have a great day. And if you do have questions at the end of today, please let me know. Otherwise, you can reach us at Ocean Rehab